Morning, distinguished speakers and my dear friends. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to this 26th webinar. Your presence here retrieves the fact that you're keen on spending time meaningfully even on the weekend. We truly appreciate that. As you all are aware, AABN has been engaging you with lively sessions with the objective of helping you hit the refresh button on emerging trends on a range of topics. This Sunday too, you would be delighted to know that we have two illustrious speakers. The networking harm has touched our lives in more ways than one. With over 60% of our alumni being entrepreneurs, it was an organic decision to float AABN as a dynamic entrepreneurial ecosystem that caters to domestic and global markets. It's not just a talent pool, it's also a space for established entrepreneurs to network and for the aspiring ones to galvanize ideas and support. Though Chennai continues to be the nerve center, we have active and productive participation from chapters in Coimbatore, Puducherry, Madurai, and Bangalore. Some of the key areas addressed by AABN chapters include cutting-edge technology in IT, automobile, agriculture, manufacturing, power, petroleum products, heavy fabrication, healthcare, management, infrastructure, core engineering product developers, and innovators. That we do not stop with it a rough cut but extend our eye to the detailed cut proves how much time we invest in our AABN commitments. Thanks to our entrepreneurs and their expertise, we have helped many members with business proposals make informed and viable choices driven by market needs. What began as a fledgling outfit to connect professionals on a proactive platform to exchange useful information and contacts also became an informal avenue to meet and listen to game changers in the fields of engineering, agriculture, marketing, entrepreneurship, and business management through interactive sessions. In the changing scenario, it is imperative to integrate engineering, agriculture, management, and other skills. AABN has not just realized the need, but has been quick to act as a sounding board for members seeking advice, and it has been encouraging successful entrepreneurs to create a platform where technical skill and business know-how meet. Despite 2020 being an unprecedented period in recent times, we managed to stay in touch with each other and create positive pathways for all in this group. As we try hard to put behind us the memories of COVID-19, it is time for renewal and regeneration. As we begin work with a renewed vigor, we would aim to achieve and enlighten all on Industry 4 standards for which we seek support and involvement of all. We hope to see the participation of many more entrepreneurs across engineering, agriculture, management, pharmacy, marine, etc., who might be able to add a fresh dimension to our goals. Though this phase of extended lockdowns came with its own share of negatives, we at AABN have tried our best to make it a positive phase by organizing webinars through which you get to interact with experts and update your knowledge on a variety of subjects. Today, too, we have two illustrious guest speakers, one our alumni, Mr. V.M. Rajshekaran, 1980 batch chemical engineering, and his teammate and co-founder of Business Clinic, Mr. R. Ramkumar, to deliberate on the topic, how to run a successful business in 2021 and beyond. Given the backgrounds, they are the most suited to talk about it. Some of the topics covered by them would include business assessment and planning, aligning the team performance, effective sales and marketing, executing for growth, staying ahead, among other strategies. Friends, put your hands together for our guests and let me have the privilege of introducing them to you. Mr. V.M. Rajshekaran's profile reads like a dream. V.M. Rajshekaran is a certified coach for senior management and business leaders. He's also a mentor helping entrepreneurs at IIT Incubation Center, Chennai, and at other institutions like TIE Chennai, where is the charter member. He worked at ITC Limited for 32 years, retiring as the CEO of the Matches and Agarbatti division in 2018. Prior to ITC, he worked with Rubber BOPP division from 1980 to 86 after graduating with a chemical engineering degree in 1980. He was also the managing director of Wimco Limited. He has been instrumental in promoting sustainable development projects in collaboration with several state governments with focus on sustainability for SSIs and livelihood creation. Our second guest speaker is distinguished in many ways. It indeed is a proud moment for me to introduce Mr. R. Ramkumar. Mr. Ramkumar is a leadership coach, musician, and educator. He does CXO coaching, leadership development, and business strategy workshop for clients like Adobe, Barclays, Cisco, ThyssenKrupp, Vodafone, HP, Alstom, Disney, TCS, TVS, and ISB. He worked with Motorola, Infosys Consulting, and was a SVP with the WNS Global Services before setting up his own leadership development practice. He is a certified executive coach from Coaching Foundation of India, an MBA from Indian School of Business, Hyderabad, and a gold medalist in engineering from Delhi College of Engineering. He is also an award-winning professional musician and educator who has performed in more than 500 concerts. If I were to read out all their accomplishments, I will be biting a big chunk of the webinar time. So I will stop here and let you enjoy the session with these experts. Before we wind up, let me once again extend a very warm welcome to all and repeat that our ABN's doors are always open to those who might want to strengthen our work with their suggestions. Thank you, and over to you, Mr. Rajshekharan and Mr. Ramkumar.
Thank you, Gopi. We also have today Sangeeta Shankaran, our speaker last week, who has joined us for the meeting. Welcome, Sangeeta. Over to Mr. Rajshekar.
Thank you all for inviting us and deciding to spend maybe 1.5 hours with us. So I hope we'll be able to share a lot of interesting insights and anecdotes. Yesterday, I think sometime in the afternoon, Sri Kumar called me and told me that before you get into the points about business, etc., etc., first we want to know more about what you did in your career and what you did in your life. So the first part of the entire presentation is going to be a little bit about myself. After that, I think Ram and me will jointly share with you some of the management concepts and how we are helping several industries at Business Clinic and how that can be offered to the ABN friends also. With this, I will start now. Okay, I will start sharing the screen. I hope it's working. Yeah, it's working.
Yes, sir, we are able to view.
Yes, we are able to see it.
Let me go to the first sheet. Yeah, clear?
Yeah, we are able to see it.
Yeah, great. See, I think the I'd like to just start this part of the presentation is talking more about me and my story. I think the biggest challenge for everybody during their entire career is to constant reinvention about your own self and to stay relevant. And if you're not relevant, I mean, you lose out in many ways. And I think in my entire career, I will share with you what happened. The beginnings, dad was a lawyer. Both of them are not there. Mother was a housewife. Sister and brother-in-law are doctors in UK. I did my schooling at Vellore. After I finished my pre-university, there was always a dilemma. I used to play a lot of tennis. So I always wanted to continue tennis as a career and at least play some good professional tennis. Tennis or engineering was a big, and I didn't get any seat in the Chennai engineering colleges. But the only seat I got was BSc Statistics in Loyola College, Chennai. And then when I was about to join Loyola College, bang comes a postman one day morning and says that, come appear for an interview. So obviously, as luck would have it or whatever have it, my father said, you will take up engineering because tennis is not going to take you beyond the age of 30. So we went there. I think that was for the second list or something like that. And we took some time to reach. We reached around the next day afternoon to Chandamangalam. We drove down in our car, did the interview, and got selected for chemical engineering. And that was 1975. I still remember, I'm sure all of you know all these places, New Block, RMH, Messford, gang fights, worms and water. I'm sure all you guys remember all this. These are some of the experiences which have really hardened all of us. Ragging was at peak. Some of the nice guys who didn't drag me too much was Sri Kumar and Ram Mohan. They used to protect me and my friends. I also used to be the captain of the university tennis team and sometimes attended classes. And because of bunking classes and, not attending some of the, I still remember, there was this mechanical engineering lab exam. And the guy gave me a slip and said, go and do that experiment in this. I honestly didn't know where that engine was. So I mean, Cubs galore, in the sense I have failed a couple of times or maybe more than that also and rewrote the exam. And that time, the interesting thing was, I think those times, Sheikh Mark can correct me if I'm wrong, we used to have 5 papers in a semester. So when you get a cup, you have to write the sixth one also. So my father used to ask me, why are you writing 6 exams this time? So I used to tell him I'm taking additional credits and doing it. So that's how it was, in the sense, but how it was quite an interesting period. So somehow managed to pass out in the first class in 1980. Great friends, uh, and most of them are in touch even after 40 years. I would say most means primarily from the chemical engineering batch of 1980. Rest of them, when we say meet them in some, so after all this, 1980, I think May or I think we came back home, and the biggest question was, will I ever get the job? Because that time the morale of the university or the name of the university was nothing great, and it was more known for rowdyism and strikes than for great education. I'm being brutally frank with you. I think maybe before in the 70s it was considered a good college. I think 80s or in the late 80s it did well. I'm sure it has improved now and doing well. Then the professional career began. I met the general manager of MM Rubber Company, MRF Company, at a tennis court, and he casually told me, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm chilling now. I'm playing tennis." He said, "Do you have any intention of working?" I said, "Yeah, sometime later, not now." Then he said, "No, no, no. You come and meet me. We want to take a guy." That's how it started. So much against my own will and expectation, within a few months of passing out, I had to join work. And the worst part was, I had to do some night shift around, which I hated in my life. Okay, then after some time, these guys moved me to Bombay as market development, back to Chennai in '85 to look after the southern region marketing and sales. Then that's when I knew that I was coming to the end of the road in MM Rubber, because it was a very myopic company, and I knew I could not go beyond a particular point. Again, here next is I joined ITC's packaging business as product manager for one of the product lines. I mean, here also, I don't know why the impatience was there so much. Within a year, they moved me to Calcutta to head Eastern Region Marketing, then went to Baroda to look after the Western Region Marketing and the Profit Center head of a facility there. Then after all that, moved back to Chennai in 1992 uh, to head All India Sales and Marketing. I took on, during that time, I was a member of the Corporate Management Committee and also took on additional responsibilities like technology development, planning, etc. So till now, if you were to ask me what is the application of chemical engineering, which I studied between 75 and 80, the answer is a big zero. I don't. So don't ask me much of questions during the question hour about chemical engineering. You can ask me about anything else. Okay. So after this, what happened was I when I in the 1996 was a time when YC Deveshwar took over as the chairman of uh, ITC Limited, and then the plan was to diversify. It was always known as a cigarette company, and he had the foresight to see that we have to move beyond cigarettes and look at a lot of consumer products. They're again keeping one thing, which is synergy and competency in mind. So identifies consumer product to harness synergies, and we had a big task force. We had a lot of meetings with Mr. Deveshwar and the board of directors to understand what are the areas where we can diversify. There were many ideas, like there was something like power, there was something like airline industry, etc., etc. But finally, we decided, because stick to the core competence what we had, which is brand building, people, and distribution. So we said let's stick on to consumer products and harness synergies. Sustainable competitive advantage, SCA is sustainable company, was three things which I told you: brand building, distribution, and people. I'm saying this is a very important aspect. For any person in any industry, you need to identify this. And then only you will be able to do well in your business. Then he started looking at people who can head businesses, and obviously smart people. Okay, so it started foods, personal care, trading cards, matches, agarbatti, etc. triple bottom line was one of the important things. I'll talk about it a little bit later. And then we started something which is called the e-Chopal, which became a worldwide phenomenon. So, so when I told you he was looking for some people to look at, I got a call from him, Mr. Deveshwar, saying that why don't you look at the agarbatti business? The only thing I knew about agarbatti was my mother used to use it for prayer, but I didn't know anything about it. Okay, so I said, sir, I don't know. He said, doesn't matter. Why don't you go and find out what's happening? So me and a young colleague from I think from one of the IMC was my marketing guy. I said, let's go. We spent almost a week to 10 days in Bangalore and Mysore trying to understand what the industry was all about. Well, it's a low-hanging fruit, crowded and growing market. That time it was about 1,000 crores, distribution-centric, rural livelihood opportunities. So these were some of these. And then we did a presentation to the chairman and the board. They said, okay, go try it out. The voyage of discovery began. We made exploratory visits again to Bangalore. And it was completely, ITC was a company which believed in technology, automation, cigarette making machines running at 5,000 cigarettes per minute type. And, this is hand rolling, hand dipping, hand packing, etc. So a little out of syllabus for us. But however, we said, let's try it. So then we started. What happened was after the first presentation to the board where I said 1,000 crore industry seems to be a low hanging fruit, opportunity is there. Why don't we give it a shot? So for the second presentation, and we also said in the first presentation that Hindustan Lever and Reckitt Benckiser have already entered the market. That gave more confidence to the chairman saying that these guys are also coming, let's do it. You won't believe it, within 3 months after we starting the project, these two guys exited the business. So, so again, in the third month when we made a presentation, we also told the board saying that these two guys have exited, which means, I mean, the biggest question which came up there was, why did they exist? Okay, we had the answers for that. We knew what are the mistakes they had done. They had, basically they came in with the experience of their own joysticks experience in Southeast Asia, where the agarbattis or the joysticks had more of smoke and less of fragrance. They came with the wrong product and the wrong pricing strategy. At least thanks to them, we learned what we should not do. We launched, then at least, then we came to a situation that, my agenda was to convert art to science. We developed a team and, where there were several misses and hits. One of them was we tried to do some candles also on the way because people said, you're doing agarbatti, why don't you do candles? It didn't do well. So obviously, whenever you have to try, and if it doesn't do well, we pulled out quickly and said, okay, we won't pursue it. The progress of agarbatti, task was to basically change the mind from doubt to belief. I think this is an important thing. Launch of, we first launched, we actually wanted to launch by the name Mangaldeep, but actually the brand name was not available. So we launched with 3 other names. So within launching of about 3 months, chairman called and said, we have acquired this brand name called Mangaldeep. You won't believe it. At that time, it was owned by a small distributor in Delhi. And we acquired the brand name. We didn't acquire the business because we didn't want the business. And we brought it for about 4.5 lakhs, the brand. Then he said, why don't we start relaunch? Then we relaunched the entire brand. And the Mangaldeep was launched by, I don't know, I could have put the pictures here, was launched by none other than Dr. S.P. Balasubramaniam at Hyderabad. And, a lot of, so while we did the launch, okay, before that, the other story was migration of fragrance. All agarbattis are, nice smelling, beautiful. So one of the directors threw a spoke in the entire thing saying that, because we have a common distribution chain. If agarbattis are taken along with cigarettes and biscuits and other thing, everything will smell like agarbattis. Therefore, this product should not be allowed to be launched. So being a packaging guy, I said, okay, I mean, this is a challenge. Let's try and solve it. So we developed a packaging which is fragrance locked, which means the fragrance would not migrate to other parts of the other products which we were carrying by the salesman. So obviously we crossed the first hurdle. We got the clearance to launch. We started launching. After launching, I used to visit a lot of markets, and one of the markets when I visited, one of the our salesmen and the retailers told me, "Sir, you have launched a product which you cannot smell." I said, "Yeah, I know that," but he said the general psyche in the Indian market is to smell the agarbatti and then only buy. Now you are not giving any opportunity for us to smell. So that became a real challenge again. So then we came out with a campaign which was done by O&M. I don't know how many of you know about this person called Piyush Pandey. He came out with a brilliant tagline saying that, here comes agarbatti, which is fragrance locked, which is not smelled by anybody, and pure like your prasad. So that really helped. And from there it took off. So then we had the triple bottom line. We did a lot of rural employment opportunities in Bihar, Orissa, Tripura, and other places, and also in Bangalore. AOL is nothing but it's not America Online. It's Art of Living. Sri Ravi Shankar wanted to launch manufacture of agarbatti in his own ashram in Bangalore. So we were invited. We started the operations there, and there was a huge press meet. And I was there, and the one of the key, very important persons from Art of Living was there. So we met, and the inauguration was happening. And, so after the meeting was over, I was invited to meet Sri Holiness Ravi Shankar, and so obviously when I was introduced as first as Rajshekhar, he said okay. Then from which state? I said Tamil Nadu. Then he started talking to me in Tamil, and then later on, the third line of introduction was he's from ITC. So then his eyes actually is quite big by itself. It became even bigger. He said, "What is a cigarette guy doing in front of me in the holy place?" Like, then immediately the guy turned around and said, "It is not cigarettes. This guy is from the agarbatti business." So he used this phrase from one smoke to holy smoke. So I think I've shared this in many forums. So this is a nice story. So then a lot of things happened, denigration. What happened was we used to print Lord Balaji's picture on the back of Mangaldeep, and RSS people came and said you have to remove it. Many things like happened. And, we had to do a lot of course corrections during the entire journey to get the brand off its feet. Statistical quality control and cloud-based monitoring for the first time was done. We were looking at again moving from the art to science. Fragrance of Temple was a research which was done. Again, this came out from a thought from one of our young brand managers saying that, "Sir, what do you think is the most divine place to pray?" So obviously the answer came, it was the temple. So then we put out a development team. They went and visited all the temples in Trivandrum, Siddhivinayak, and then Tirupati temple, and see what is the fragrance like there. And see, then we launched a series of products called the Fragrance of Temple, so and so. And then we did a lot of automation, rapid growth through effective marketing and distribution and operations. So having done all this agarbatti model was, the bamboo charcoal. This was done by, it's a very labor intensive process. Agarbatti manufacturing is but done by NGOs. Perfuming is done by small scale industries. And packaging was done by SSIs, and marketing and distribution. So this was a completely distributed model and a very asset-light business. You won't believe it. Even now, after the business about almost close to about 16 years old, ITC does not own even one factory. Everything is done through small-scale industries. The evolution of the agarbatti, the picture on the left-hand side is what you see is how, when we started the business in 2003, a lady used to roll about 4 kgs in a day. And then we did some, exploratory work in Vietnam and in China, and we found and we developed an extruded pedal bait, just like a sewing machine. So she was able to do about 16 kgs a day. Then we worked with some of the people, and also the Vietnamese had already started developing automating the entire thing through motorized machines that moved to 50 kgs. So the earning potential of a lady, which was 4 into say 20, 80 rupees a day, jumped to almost 250 rupees a day. So this is some of the things we did. So then that's the story about agarbatti. Then what happened was sometime in 2010, I was told that, that time the matches business had existed, but had a lot of issues and problems. So they said, why don't you take over as the MD of Mimco and CEO of matches business also. I took over that in addition to this. Powerful brands like Homelight, Cedar-Fight, plagued with, the factories what we had a lot of issues in terms of IR and quality. So we did operation cleanup was commenced. We rationalized 4 factories of Wimco, which had over 5,000 workmen. We closed them down and moved the automation and focus on value addition. Leverage here again, not even one factory of ITC with about 25 vendors, we were able to become the #1 player in the country, market leadership. So this is what is called the triple bottom line. The first part is the economic part, the second is the environment, and the third is social. On the economic part today, it's about between matches and agarbatti, it's over 1,000 crores, healthy return on capital employed. Mangaldeep is the top 5 brands in every state and #2 in the country. AIM is the largest brand in India and maybe in the world also. There are not many countries use any. And in environmental side, we did a lot of social forestry and then engagement with the industry associations. Green Temple initiative was done. We did this in Chennai Kapalishwar Temple and in Madurai Meenakshi Temple. Srirangam Temple, where what we did was all the waste which is happening in the temple was put into a biogas, and then the gas was used in the kitchens to produce prasad, and we funded the entire thing. And today, it's providing on the social front, providing employment for about 10,000 people, and we are partnering with the state governments on various sustainability projects. So with over 50 small-scale industries working with them and creating a positive impact in the society, we are able to give back about over 1,000 crores on consumer products. So this is a short story about the two. Now, this is one of the commercials which I like a lot in Agarbatti. Can I play it, please?
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, amongst several of my learnings, I think these are some of the things, red means be responsive, have an eye for details and deadline orientation. Polar, never ever choose a path for least resistance. Don't be a speed breaker. Don't be a procrastinator. Don't be a showstopper, and don't have the fear of failure. So I think these are my learnings. And what am I doing now? I think, as Gopi said, mentor at IIT Madras, leadership coaching, consultation at business clinic, and meeting friends. Thank you. I think I will, from this point onwards, we will take you through some of the business concepts on and what we guys are doing. You want any questions at this point in time? We can do that, or we can. I think that would be better. I think, Gopi, we take questions now, and then we can move on to the business part. Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
go ahead.
Sir, if you don't mind, we can finish the presentation and take the questions together.
Yeah, no problem. Whatever suits you.
Yeah.
Okay, Ram, let's start off. You would like to, Ram?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, everyone. Really honored to be here. I see like from batch 75 to batch 2020. So it's like 45 years of Annamalai University heritage. And so really honored to be here along with Mr. Ashik. Sir, I think you can go ahead with the first part.
Yeah, I think this is what we intend sharing today. One is, this is we are doing it under this acronym called PACE, PACE, Plan, Align, Connect, and Execute. I will probably look at share with you what is planning all about in business and industry. Then Ram will share on Align, Connect, and then finally I will do a little bit on execution. Yeah, Ram. The first part, which is, I think the most important thing in any business, is planning, business planning. If you don't have a plan, it's like running a rudderless ship. You really don't know what you're doing because there is no review mechanism, there is no review document. So how do you do business planning? The most important thing is first you do external, internal analysis, and then write a vision for yourself. Whatever it is, don't worry about it. I mean, doesn't mean that you need to have companies like ITC or Levers only can write vision, but it can be a simple vision. But write down, state it down, and then come down. After the vision, you come down to what you want to achieve in the next 2 to 3 years. These are called the objectives. Followed by how you will do it. These are the strategies. Finally, close it with action plans and KPIs. And this will culminate into a business plan document. This is an important aspect for any business. Yeah. I mean, in terms of internal and external analysis, what we normally use for business planning workshops is the Porter's 5 forces. I'm sure all of you are aware. But this is at least, I think I would say about 30 plus years old, but it still is good. If you use this analysis, then you will know exactly where you stand. Yeah. And then we'll do the pestle analysis, more of external, political, economic, social, technological, environmental, and legal. Yeah. Then having done those two exercises, we have what we have also done is we have done a very proprietary system called the Business 360, where we talk to people in the organization, or you can get answers as to what is the business, how is your business going, what are the captures the views of key stakeholders. I will tell you recently in one of the coaching assignments, that was an MSME industry. The owner of the company was continuously stating and telling me that I want to become. I think he was doing 50 crores. I want to become 100 crores in 3 years' time. So I said, great, that's a good ambition to be there. But when I did a 360 with them and I was talking to various people, the people down below are extremely happy where they were. They said, sir, we are doing extremely well. We should be, first of all, congratulate ourselves to be in the same place. So there's a huge disconnect between what the leader wants and what the organization is aiming to be. So this will come out. And then it also talks about, getting the strengths and focus areas for improvement. Yeah. How does it work? First we have the Business 360 online questionnaire, and then we have a Business 360 report, and then will be a debrief session. And then what should you do in the next 30, 60, 90 days? You got to change quickly. It's not a 5-year plan. You got to change swiftly because these are identified and shared with you. Yeah. So then again another one. I'm sure all of you are aware of it. SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Detailed discussions with the team members. You have it. Go and talk to them. Get to understand. Yeah. Having done that, we move to the next area, which is called the core competencies. Now, what did I tell you? In the case of ITC, I told you that we looked at ITC's 3 core competencies, which is people, brand building, and distribution. Similarly, what are you good at? The next step is sustainable competitive advantage. But first of all, understand what are you good at. Then the second question is, whatever you're good at, are you better than competition? That is sustainable competitive advantage. If you're able to answer these 2 questions or develop answers for these 2 over a period of time, I mean, you should succeed. There is no doubt in my mind that you should not succeed. Because what happens is, um, in many of the instances where I'm mentoring a lot of startups in IIT and other places, people come to the market with a product which they feel is technologically superior. They feel that it succeed. Obviously, that's not the answer. You have to take an all India, you have to take an all-round view and see whether your product, it is, if it is just meeting some customary needs, it's not going to help. So therefore, the point is you guys have to look at how can you make the entire business succeed rather than a great product is never a great business. That's what I want to tell you, because in some of the instances it's happened in ITC. Okay, let me share with you this example. Um, our cigarettes, not cigarettes, our biscuits business, they came out with an outstanding nutritional biscuit, and all of us were sitting in the boardroom and we all tasted it, and it tasted fantastic, And we said, why not? Why don't we start? Including the chairman, board of directors, everybody said, wow, great product, nice tasting. So we said, we launched it. So it is called Sachin's Fit Kit, Sunfeast, under the brand name called. And it didn't do well when it went to the market. It just didn't do well. So therefore, there are many instances where internally you find that the product is great or your service is great, but when it goes out to the market, it doesn't. So what's the answer? The answer is, therefore, it is important for you to test the market in market conditions through good market research. Many people in MSME and many organizations feel that market research is not worth it. It's not worth spending the money. I don't think so, because this is a great gate. And if you fail in the market research, you should not launch. For example, in Agarbatti, we used to, for example, if we have to launch a rose Agarbatti in, say, North, we will develop 4 roses, and these 4 rose sticks will be compared with the best rose Agarbatti in North, and then on blind. If it comes out as a clear winner only, it's launched. Yeah. So then we come to this thing called the objectives, strategies and action plan. Objectives is basically, it has to follow the SMART principle: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. How much and of what will be accomplished by when. Strategies: how will the objectives be achieved. Action plans, again, by name, by not more than 10 points. So once you're able to get this entire document through, your business plan is ready and you can do extremely well in this. Yeah. So normally we do a business plan workshop. This is normally for about 3 online sessions for about 2 hours each. At the end of the session, you should walk out with the business plan document. Normally what we do is the CEO along with this team or the team members join together for this. Yeah. So I think for the next part of PACE, which is A, align, Ram, request you to take it.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Rajshekharan. So the thing is, we are no longer in the industrial revolution age where the CEO has decided something, he says, and then everybody follows. Right? Today's generation is very different. The workforce is a mix. Even if you are operating a very small setup, or if you are operating a large setup, we are working with people within the company as well as outside the company of different age groups, and not all of them obey command. So now the challenge is that once you've done this business planning workshop, typically we try and involve as many of the key stakeholders as possible in the workshop itself, so that there is when you go to execution, there is not any it's not like somebody from top decided, dumped it on the team, and then the team has to now whatever they think, just go ahead and execute it. So one of the very important steps we have seen for success, especially now these days, is that there needs to be an alignment in the vision, in the objectives, in the action plans between what the top management or whoever makes the plan thinks, as well as whoever is the employee in the company, whether you're employing one person or whether you're employing 20,000 people or whether you're employing 2 lakh people. So the next step is alignment. Now in alignment, why is an alignment needed? So there is a research study done for 50 years by Stanford University and Hay Group, where fundamentally you can say, even from spirituality, this is what has been indicated for a long time across cultures. First is like, who am I as an individual, right? what at a deeper level, who am I? Therefore, what are the skills or competencies I possess? The second step is I am doing a job. I could be the CEO of a company. I could be running my own business. I could be coming and working in any of the functions in the company. I could be a HR person. I could be a finance person. I could be a person in the factory. I could be a guy who's writing software. I could be a lady who's helping market. Could be anybody, right? And so the job needs a set of skills. So I have a set of skills, and the job needs a set of skills. Now, if you imagine these as two circles, and typically, the Venn diagram approach, because like more like anomaly. So if you imagine two circles, and the more there is an overlap between these two circles, the more the alignment, the more happiness you have, and the more is the chance of success. But sometimes what happens is we want to do some things. We join a company or we start a business thinking that it will be a certain way. But what is required in the business or what is required in that role, we don't even know, right? I mean, as to what is required. So, the more we try and understand both and create alignment. Okay, I'm just muting.
Mute somebody.
Yeah, I'm just muting. So basically, the more the alignment between these two, what happens, especially in the leadership team, the more the alignment between what the leaders want to do and the skills they have, and the what their job requires them to do, the better the leadership style becomes. So leaders are no longer frustrated. They're more cooperative. They're more listening. They employ a lot of good leadership styles, and because of this, the organizational climate changes. Suddenly, the teams start performing much better. Now, here you have not done anything. You have not done anything else to the company. You have only created more alignment. You have not increased production. You have not increased sales. You have not done anything else. You just improved the alignment of leaders to what they need to do. You have helped them understand who they are, what are their skills, and what is the job, what is the skill set requirement to what they want to do in their business plan. Just by merely doing this alignment, it has been proven through research, 50 years of research, that there is more than 70% improvement in the organizational culture and climate, which therefore results in up to 30% business improvement without touching any of the other business parameters, just by working on human beings. That's all. That too only the leaders. So, so this is the reason why alignment is so important. And many companies say that, we are experts in functional areas. We know exactly how this product works, etc. But still we are not achieving success. This could be one of the reasons why success is not happening. How do you align then, right? Now, the thing is, now first we need to understand what are the competencies or skills required in a role. For example, let's say if you yourself are running your business, what are the skills that are actually needed to run the business? You could have started off as a great tech guy or a great chemical person or a great mechanical engineer. That's fine. But then are those skills enough to run the business? Especially today's world, 2021 and beyond. What are the skills that are required to run the business? That's one list. Now, here are my skills. Where am I vis-a-vis that? Whatever be my age, I could be a youngster, I could be a person who has spent n number of years in the industry. But am I matching? Am I in alignment with what is required to run my business or to run my function? If I am, so how do you find out whether I am? There are multiple ways. So one of the fundamental things that we have learned across working is that when you are not sure, please seek help. Problems that we often encounter, we think we are the only ones who are encountering this in life. Whereas most of these problems, thousands of people have encountered this. There are people who have developed expertise in solving solutions. Now, very often we are so much embroiled in the work we are doing and in the problems that we do not reach out to help. And the people we usually reach out to help may not be very competent to help us, like family members, etc. So, but however, today in 2021, a lot of help is available. Whether you want help in psychological level, like, in terms of coaching, executive coaching, there are options like one-on-one coaching, options to coach your team. Now you want to do something with your companies, the teams are not aligned. So how do you align the team? How much you may tell the team, you are saying that things are not moving. Bring in an expert team coach. That person can help you totally align the team. Let them know expectations, help them align with you, help you align with them. And then there are n number of business coaching opportunities that are available that can really help take business to the next level. What do all of these seek to do? Bring you clarity in terms of what the business needs to do, which has come from the business plan phase, and bring you clarity in terms of what the people need to do. What do you need to do? What do the other people in the company need to do? And then the alignment starts to come. Then the circle starts coming together. Then there is more overlap between the success. Now, one of the again, from experience, what we have seen here is when you start doing this analysis, there may be 20 things that may come up. Oh, this is not right. Oh, that is not right. Oh, this skill I have to match. Oh, that skill I have to match. Now there's like confusion as to what do I do? We are all human beings. Though spiritually we may be infinite in capacity, but as a human form, we are limited in terms of time and capabilities. So how do we then handle that? So what do we say? That simple Pareto principle, 80-20 principle. There will be one or two things which if you address, they'll solve 80% of your problems. Try and identify. So what we help typically do is in all our coaching engagements, whether it is one-on-one, team or business coaching, we try and figure out what are those one or two things that actually, if addressed, will help you solve a majority of your problems. Go and tackle them first, get rid of all the headache, and then focus on the rest. So this is what we typically do when we work with companies, and we have seen that it as quite successful. So we have basically done this from one person organization to large Maharatnas like Indian Oil Corporation, for example, or large private companies like Adobe, Cisco, etc. So everywhere this works. Then we also, what we do is, so now coaching as a process, one-on-one or team coaching may be there, but then if you want to develop more leaders in the company, basically percolate this to the next level, right? So there is a lot of research that keeps coming out every few years on what are the competencies that are a must for leaders of that age or decade. Now the competencies that were relevant in 1970s may be totally different from the competencies that are relevant in 1980. Obviously, there are some basic competencies that don't change, like for example, self-awareness, communication, ability to delegate, etc. is important. But it is important to also keep track of, are there competencies that I really need to succeed in this day and age that I am living in? Just because we are, let's say for example, we started business in 1970 or 1980 doesn't mean that we think about today's age with that mindset, right? So we have to be like really current, like Mr. Rajshekharan said, we have to keep on reinventing ourselves. We have to really look at what's happening and see what we can take in. Learning is like a constant process through life. So what we do is, recently Center for Creative Leadership and other research reports came up with 6 competencies that seem to be a must for today's leaders. So we keep updating this list and keep contextualizing this list based on organizations. So we train leaders on these competencies. Basically, we take proven frameworks that they can use to quickly get up to speed on these competencies, and then how they can use it in their day-to-day life to basically get better. And the way this works is, if you typically do a training or a workshop, what will happen is people will go out of the workshop, unless they have their own ownership, etc. Things won't move very far. The workshop will remain as a pleasant memory to be shared later with people. However, what we do is we clearly, whether it is coaching or a leadership development program, we create plans. We create individual development plans or sustainable action trackers. These trackers are tracked every week or every month, so that the person has to actually go ahead and implement the learnings at work or in life. And then, we try and make sure that the change in behavior is sustainably established, so that by the time, we are off and the person is on his own, the leader is on his own, the change has happened sustainably and it will not come back. Many of the coaching engagements, in fact, Marshall Goldsmith, who's a very, very famous coach, he said that less than 20% coaching engagements overall seem to be succeeding across the globe. And that the reason is because once the coach goes away, after a few weeks, the behavior has not changed sustainably. So the change in behavior, starts relapse, and then the whole thing starts relapsing. So what we make sure is that we handhold in such a way that the change is established very well and it doesn't come back. So if you are doing this for some of your leaders, you have to take care that it's not just one learning event, but the learning is implemented in business, in work, in life, and then you have to make sure that change is sustainably established. Next is, once you have done the planning, you clearly know where you're heading, what kind of growth you need. Once you have done the alignment, once all your people are aligned, yes, we're going to go for this plan, then you really need to connect to the market, connect to the product, connect to the service, connect to what you really need to learn, get those insights so that you can be successful. Now, after doing a lot of programs, we have come up with this format that we have found to be very helpful. So this is called Expert Insight. So what we have been doing in multiple companies is, companies basically come to us and say that, this is 2020, 2021. We are still doing marketing and sales the old way. is this okay? I mean, are we doing it well? We're paying so much to our agencies, we are paying so much to our staff, but we don't seem to be seeing any improvements. And there are these new companies that are coming into the market which seem to be doing things in a different way. To give you a example, there are ways in which, experience marketing can be employed, which is a relatively newer concept. Rather than focusing on marketing products and services, if you market experiences, then customers, tend to stick on more. It reaches the customers in a better way. So we've done experience marketing programs, customer delight programs for companies. We did a certification program last month on experience marketing, and we try and price this as low as possible so that people can attend. But basically the idea is, as a company, please, even in traditional areas, please be on the lookout. See what is the latest, are there different ways to reach customer, because the customer behavior has changed. The time customer has to, hear about your product or service has changed. Where you will go and meet the customers has changed. And especially after COVID, it's totally changed in many industries. So the important thing is to keep, the learning mindset open, growth mindset open, and, take a topic that's really required. So what we do typically is companies come to us and say, take a topic that's really current and please help us train on this. So what we typically do is we do a session where experts come, they train on the topic, we have hands-on learning and understanding. And typically in the last session, the participants present how they will go and implement it in their own company so that, they can immediately after the workshop go and start hit the ground running. Then basically, what are the different areas we do it in? Actually, we do it in every area, but these are the top areas of focus for, like, if you see that we have seen in the year 2020 and 2021, companies are coming to us and asking about business analytics. So we have done business analytics programs in many places. Latest was IOCL, R&D and innovation. So we have 4 or 5 experts who have multiple patents and PhDs, who use techniques like design thinking, who have many, many years of experience in creating innovative products and services. Supply chain and logistics, we have been working with Takasago, which is, for example, which is one of the leading manufacturers of flavors and fragrances in the world. We have been helping them get better at inventory management, learn latest techniques in forecasting, inventory management, and other supply chain management processes, accelerating sales and revenue growth. This is one area where almost everybody wants to do this, right? So we've been working with multiple companies, marketing and distribution, managing. So these are some of the areas which seem to be very, very current and in demand across the multiple companies. Now I'll hand it over to Mr. Rajshekaran to take over.
You can continue.
Okay, sure, sir. So once we have done all of this, finally, you have the plan, you have the people aligned, you are getting all the learnings, and then you are executing. Now, while executing, as I said, there are a lot of challenges that may come, right? You may have projected for 30 to 40% growth. Suddenly that didn't happen. You expected orders from some company, it didn't come. Somebody is like delaying it. You thought it will cost only this much to make this product, but suddenly when raw material is not happening, when some machine has gone, is not working well, costs are rising, people costs are rising. You estimated that you will get this guy at this cost, that guy left, and then somebody else had to be brought in. Technology, you are working with some old technology while new technology has come in the market, and then you need to basically invest so much to get the new technology. Quality, product quality. So there are like N number of issues, right? And you're all familiar with so many challenges that come in execution. Now, the key challenge in all of this, that when this challenge in execution comes, especially when the companies are small and medium enterprises, one of the things that everybody shares with us, the people whom we work, is that we feel very, very alone. We feel very, very lonely. We have suddenly hit a problem, and there is nobody whom we can go who can actually give us a quick solution. We talk to friends, they say, yes, I saw this problem in my company also. We are also trying to handle it, etc. But who do we go to who can provide us quick solution? If you go to a big consulting company, they'll say 6-month project, sir, we'll come and study. We'll study for 2 months, then we'll give you a report, etc. But I don't have time. I have taken loans, I have done this, I have projected so much of growth. So what we have done is, we do this very, very quick consulting where we say, you submit to us a business challenge. We have 30 plus business experts across multiple areas. You submit it to us in an email format, you call and tell us. We'll do a call with you to clarify all the details. And then we'll identify an expert for that area who has spent N number of years, 20, 30 years solving that problem, different facets of the problem for different companies. We do a 2-hour consultation, and within the 2 hours, you will get specific actionables. So this is a short haul consulting, very, very quick. You have a problem today, tell us what it is. We do a call. We understand the details of the problem. We identify the expert. We try and fix up a call as soon as possible. And within 2 hours, you get specific actionables. This is one of the, in the last 8 months, we've done more than 50 such consultations with companies of different sizes. And it's really helping them because it helps, like problems that could, small problems or big problems that could nag you for years on end, just get solved in like within 2 hours. What are the different areas in which we consult? I mean, name it, like, because we are able to do it only because like starting from revenue generation to all those areas, finance, legal, etc. Because we have a lot of experts with us, which I'll cover. So we have a lot of 30 plus expert advisors using which we can do. Here are some examples of the challenges we have helped solve. I'll take an example of a chemical adhesive manufacturing company in Chennai, which is known globally. Their primary industry had faced a lot of challenges during COVID. In March and April, the industry revenue was zero in India and across the globe, and they were supplying to that industry. So no wonder their products were not being sold. And they basically came to us and said, so what do? You know, we really don't want to, we want to see where we can go. So within that same industry, we'll help them identify adjacent areas where they can grow. We studied their products. We quickly did an analysis and helped them understand what other segments can they target. And now they are doing pretty well from where they were before. Take the completely opposite side of one person who's operating a setup. There is this doctor who's running a specialty clinic in Chennai. He sought advice from us to increase footfalls. He was getting like 1 or 2 patients every day. He had tried different marketing approaches. Things were not working. So we brought in our marketing advisor. We have changed things, and now he's getting at least 10 patients per day. So we are probably like just 3 months since we did the consultation, and we are planning, it will definitely increase going forward. These are some examples. And to basically sum up the whole thing, what we are saying is, if you keep these 4 words in mind, you know, if you had to take one takeaway from this session, let it be pace, plan, align, connect, and execute. In plan, what do? You plan for business growth, you do a business plan, you prepare a business plan. Why is a business plan important? Because again, you need to have one single version of truth, right? You need to know what you want to do, put it down on paper so that everybody can refer to it. And then you can also refer to it in future and see what did I plan for and where I am, right? It's like having the map and, you know, having the destination in mind. Otherwise, we may just go here and there, and then finally we may be very far away from the destination. Once you have planned, there is a need to create alignment with yourself, alignment with your team, alignment with your expanded team, depending on what is the size of the organization. Then you need to really connect to what you're doing, learn, get insights, and then finally execute. And at any stage, whenever we are stuck, please remember there are so many other human beings in the world who solve these problems. Please, please, please reach out for help. And so the way we do it in Business Clinic is plan. Basically, we do a business planning workshop. We do the Business 360. Alignment, we do business coaching and leadership development programs. Connect is expert insights, basically the trainings that we said, 3-session trainings. And execution is through consulting engagements. And yesterday, Mr. Rajshekaran was saying that, you know, can we do some, we were discussing what could we do for AABN in a way that it is economically, you know, viable, affordable, as well as, you know, impactful. So we just indicated, you know, how this may work out, you know, in case AABN wants to engage with us also on this slide. Mr. Rajshekaran, would you like to say anything?
No, actually it is, you know, the PACE can be done by yourself also, by reading books or, you know, like but keep this process in mind. One way is to reach out to us and we can help you. And these are the approximate costs. Okay.
Yeah, sure. So we just thought also we'll quickly introduce the Business Clinic team before we take questions. So this is the founding team, Mr. Rajshekaran, myself, you know. Anush is a hospitality professional. Those of you who may have been in Chennai or visited Chennai, he runs a restaurant called Meze, which is quite popular here. And so we get to visit it because he's part of our team whenever we want to. So his areas of expertise include hospitality. He's managed a lot of events. He's also good with advertising and branding. So that's the team. Value proposition is that we have to be timely. Whenever somebody needs something, we have to immediately provide a solution. We have to be very effective. The solution has to be effective. And, you know, even after we provide a solution, you know, we sit on calls internally and said, What did the solution we provide? Was it effective? Are we providing value? What else should we do? Should we connect this person to somebody else? So, we always, Mr. Rajshekharan keeps, stressing on this. We always keep doing these calls, even after we have done a consultation or a business planning workshop. We'll then again go back. We'll say, what, this may work even better. Let's try this, etc. And then it has to be affordable. That's our value proposition. These are some of our advisors. So we have got advisors who spent 35, 30 years across. Ambika is like a veteran in the ad industry and in market research. She worked with R.K. Swamy BBDO. Omio Chaudhary was head of operations product development at ITC. Mr. Atul Joshi, head of sales and distribution. Mr. Chandas, the CEO of the stationery business, classmate business of ITC. John Stephen from MRF, he's head of HR there. Mr. V.K. Krishnan, who is there on the call with us today. Thank you, Mr. Krishnan, for attending. And he's an expert in project management and in engineering. He spent many, many years of distinguished service in Siemens, and then he retired from there recently. Mr. Manoj Virmani in hospitality. So you can see that we have got multiple experts across areas, and this is the reason why we are able to help. Dr. Subramaniam, again, is an expert in R&D and innovation. Got more than 50 plus patents. So these are our advisors across the areas, and the site has more details on this. Along with this, we're very clear that we also need to give back and share as much as possible. So we do complimentary webinars 15th of every month. We get a very well-known personality in the industry who has lifelong learnings to share. They come and they share their learnings. We have had very, very distinguished speakers across. We had Professor Bala Balachandran, who is management guru and Dean of Great Lakes of Management, Institute of Management, and also J.L. Kellogg, distinguished professor. He came and addressed us in September. In October, Mr. R. Gopalakrishnan, who's director of Tata, ex-director of Tata Sons, he came and shared his wisdom from his years of life. In November, Mr. Sridhar Vembu was recently awarded Padma Shri. He came and he shared his experience of products. How do you manage products and projects in a country that's largely now moving towards services? How do you create an innovative mindset? How do you create a mindset for building more products and building more innovative services? And then in December, we had C.K. Ranganathan, who is the chairman and MD of Kevin Care, come and share his experience and insights. In January, we had Professor Ashok Jhunjhunwala, who has been a pioneer in terms of the industry and academia connect. He was one of the first people to establish a successful connect, and is also known as the father of startup revolution, especially in the South. And he heads the IIT Madras Research Park. He came and spoke, and in Feb, please, all this is free to attend. We have Rajiv Menon coming and speak to us, the famous cinematographer, on how do you survive with creativity. This is on 15th of this month. The link is here. You can just go to businessclinic.in, and we'll also share the link with you. All these are complimentary, free to attend, and these are very, very interesting speakers. Typically, we have anywhere from 100 to 200 people attending each of these sessions. We also do certification programs. I just thought I'll put this here in case it interests somebody, not as a sales pitch, but last month we did a program on experience marketing. This month we are doing a program on design thinking for innovation. How can you use design thinking? Design thinking programs are very, very costly usually. So we are bringing in an expert and doing it at a very, very affordable price. Individuals can register. Broadly, that's about it. And we can take any questions or open to any interaction.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Ram, and thank you, Mr. Rajshekar. I would let our Pondicherry coordinator, Prabhakaran, to take questions and take it to the speaker. And if anyone wants to unmute and ask questions also, they are welcome. Prabhakar?
Am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Thanks, Mr. Rajshekar and Mr. Ramkumar, for this wonderful session on how to run a successful business in 2021 and beyond. The entire presentation was so simple, to the point, and so understandable that hardly we got any questions in the chat box. We have got one question from Mr. Tariq. Can you elaborate more on experience marketing?
Yeah, sure. So usually, see, typically what we do is when we sell anything, we've come from inside. We are so much focused on the product. We come from inside out. Typically, what would we do? Let's say if we have a product, right? We'll say, let's say agarbatti, right? We'll say, oh, this is the best agarbatti in the market, or we'll start highlighting the benefits. This is available for low cost, or the fragrance is great, etc. Right? Or you take any other service that we are providing. Typically, we start harping on the features the product provides or the service provides, right? But companies that have been very, very successful in the recent times, there are n number of examples of this, Amazon, Starbucks, in India also so many examples, such as Swiggy, etc., have all shifted the attention to the customer and their experience. So how is it that we can provide a customer a great experience? When the focus is on customer experience, everything starts changing. Our communication is no longer about the product or service we offer. Our communication is about the experience the customer is going to get. Everything that we do, product features that we want, anything that we want, everything is driven by customers, the way customers are experiencing. And when we are focusing on customer experience, we typically what we do is we directly go and hit the core of the customer, what the customer wants, right? And we can actually, like, we perceive the world around us with 5 senses. We experience the world with 5 senses, right? The experience marketing helps you understand how can you go and impact your customer or reach your customer using all the 5 senses. What all do you do to give them a pleasurable experience so that they don't argue with you any longer about prices? They don't negotiate on prices. They themselves want to try out your products. They'll go and do word of mouth marketing for you themselves. Even before, let's say, for example, we have done these sessions. We are doing the sessions for many companies. I'll take the recent example of Indian Oil, just to give an example, right? Indian Oil wants that if a customer starts from the home, before they start from their home thinking they'll fill petrol, they should think that I'll go only to this Indian Oil petrol pump. So what all can they do in the petrol pump, outside the petrol pump, in the way they interact, in the way they place ads, etc., so that a customer is delighted every time they only want to approach them. And when you start doing this, suddenly you start focusing more from instead of focusing on competition, instead of focusing on what my product is doing, service is doing, your complete focus shifts to the customer. And you just keep providing what the customer needs. You start thinking ahead of the customer, what they may need, etc. And suddenly all the other worries basically leave you. So that's the concept of experience marketing.
The second question is from Mr. Dhanasekaran. MSME, once dawdling for employment, is now suffering. Do you have any advice for them? To MSMEs.
Can we talk to him, find out what is the real suffering? What's the problem? Then we'll be able to understand and engage with him.
Mr. Dhanasekaran, can you come online, please? Can you unmute and please explain this question? Mr. Dhanasekaran? Can you please unmute?
Yeah, he's there. Yeah, he's good unmute.
Yeah. Okay. It was a very nice presentation. Thank you, Mr. Rajshekhar. I'm 1 year junior to you. Are you audible?
Yes, yes. Please go ahead.
Sir.
Hello. Yeah. See, now currently, see, I will, it's okay because this forum will not be able to fully give a correct explanation. I know you guys are already in touch with most of the MSMEs. Okay. See, we are all saying, okay, now employment is a big problem nowadays. Okay. And there is always people are saying, okay, don't look for the government, don't look for the private. You be yourself an entrepreneur. Okay. And that is what has happened. Some 20 years back, starting a MSME was very successful. Okay, you get a lot of opportunities. Now it is crumbling because of severe competition, because of the big brother attitude of the corporates, because corporates themselves are into trouble. Okay, see, we cannot, okay, then the corporates will say the country policies, so many things. But now there are so many, see, instead of, I will correctly put it, instead of 10 companies in a particular segment, now 50 are there, 50. Okay. For example, of course, it is not relevant. Now I am into import of this low aromatic white spirit. There were 5 importers in Chennai. It jumped to 50. Okay. There was severe competition. Then government brought a lot of restrictions. Why so much import is happening? Now, once again, it has become 5. All the people have gone out suffering because the imports were held. Of course, this is not relevant for these MSMEs. I'm just trying to create an analogy. I think from your management perspective, you will have a wider thing. See, instead of 10 people, 50 are there now in the race. You will say the fittest will let the fittest survive. Then where is the avenue? Where is the growth? See, you are touching on socio-economical also. Okay, now the problem is whether for the 40 units, whether they should continue. See, so another 10 units can survive. What about the 30? Are they going to get out of this business with big losses? Okay, see, big losses from the MSME point of view, they will really suffer. Okay, for them, it is a big thing. Though amount wise, it may not be big. For example, 50 lakhs losing for one company, it's going to be big. For another one, 5 crores. Okay, I think you can touch, of course, it's a bigger subject.
No, actually, it's a nice question. The thing is, the people who succeed, be it in MSME or in the corporate world, are those people who continuously reinvent themselves. Okay. Now, you must have all heard about this thing called product life cycle. Now, if you look at the product life cycle, your product or service is bound to have a downward curve. Now, in the sense, you need to look at it and identify that well in advance and look at I think during my presentation, I talked about competencies. Now, today, you said, I am importing and distributing white spirits, correct? So that's what you said?
They can.
Yeah. So, okay. So therefore, what are the adjacent areas where you can move to? That is the most important thing, identifying the adjacent areas. If you feel what worked 10 years back is going to work for the next 10 years, I think we are all wrong.
Thank you.
And the product life cycle is getting shorter and shorter and shorter. After 5 years, you've got to be in a slightly adjacent area. This is going to happen. Competition is going to keep coming in that area. And this is what, and look at many other companies. How do they look at adjacencies? I gave you the example of ITC. ITC was a pure cigarette company. And we knew that consumption of cigarettes was coming down. So therefore, what are the adjacent areas where we can get into based on our competencies? Distribution, brand building, people. So then we got into atta, biscuits, cigarette, agarbatti, matches. So I think that is something you need to do an exploratory exercise about what you're good at. And that, and move on. When you see the competition coming, what happens when competition comes in large numbers? You are going to get a drop in your market share, your prices are going to drop. That's going to happen, 100%. So well before it happens, shift to the next place and take professional help. People can help you identify good adjacent areas. I hope I have answered your question to a... Yeah, you have muted yourself. You have to unmute.
Okay. Both of you, I'm very happy about your entire career thing. Okay. My congrats to you. And of course, you both are a very good team and you are already tied up with a very big knowledge base. Congrats for that. Your presentation was really very nice, cute and short. Though short, you are able to hit the correct bullseye. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thanks, sir.
Just one thing, if I may add to that question. So actually, we totally relate to what you're saying because many of the MSMEs we work with, the primary big companies they supply to, many of them have said that no, now we are the demand for the product is not there, so we won't take from you. So suddenly, the dependence, because they have dependencies on big companies, suddenly they come crashing. So a lot of MSMEs are suffering. So like Mr. Rajasekharan said, one of the very, very important aspect is to plan for risk, right? Quite often what happens is we have one customer, right? One big customer. We are very happy that we are supplying to that customer, or one or two big customers in the whole customer mix. Very often we don't diversify ourselves and keep looking for, other options. So one of the things which is also important while we do the planning is to also look for, like Mr. Rajasekharan said, adjacent areas and how do we diversify the risk. Today we may be very happy with one client, we may got an order, we may have a 10-year contract with them, but there is no guarantee that that company itself may survive or the times may be the same, right? So we have got to constantly keep looking out and diversify, and that's the only way, sir. It's very hard, but yes, we'll have to do it.
Thank you. Next question is from Mr. Pratap, 2001 chemical batch. He says that he runs an online mattress company, D2C. There is no touch and feel experience to the customer, which has been the traditional norm. We do online only and in social media marketing. what experience should we highlight to the customer in this case?
Yeah, no, there are many products like this where you don't get a touch feel at all. But I think that the best way to market your product as you go along, you're not planning to open a showroom. You're not planning to have a. Can he come on? Can we see him and can we talk to him? That will be better.
Pratap, can you unmute and come online?
Hello, Anna Kekada.
Go ahead, Pratap.
Sir, I run a sustainable bedding company. We
Bedding,
make
bedding. What is this?
Yeah.
This.
Yelavam Panju mattress.
Right. Got it. Yeah. Okay. No problem.
So I run that company. So this is one thing which you have been doing traditionally for many years, but there is no branded company or branded product in this segment. So there are too many brands in foams and in the modern mattress technology. So we want to establish a branded company with a traditional product, which has been there for many, many years. So what we decided is we will be purely on, it's a very startup, we are only 2 years old. So we don't have big budget or huge money. And we thought that selling directly to customers would be a right thing to do. So that is how we are doing. So it's an online portal we have, and we are selling it. So traditionally, if I go to buy a mattress, I will sit on it, I will touch it, I will feel how it is. But that experience is completely missing in this case. So when you're talking about experience marketing, so the main experience is touch and feel and how they feel the product. So that is missing. So how should we go ahead? So what should be the other feelings we should heighten to the customers, and what should be done better in terms of social media or online marketing? That's my question.
Yeah, touch and feel products, online marketing is tough. Okay, first thing is you should have good videos to talk and talk about the positive features about your product. And point 2, okay, good videos, positive features, talk about sustainability points, and the third important thing is word of mouth.
Right, sir.
To get 10 people to talk about your product, 10 will become 100, 100 will become 1,000. In no time it will happen. Because what you're if you really look at the television advertising today, what is Baba Ramdev advertising? Dant what is that? Dant Kanti, right? That the toothpaste.
Right, sir. Toothpaste, right, sir.
Age-old thing. He's coming back. He's spending a lot of money. But what you're trying to do is doing a Baba Ramdev without any advertising. Correct?
Correct, sir.
Most small video clip. I think Ram can tell you, and you can do it yourself. This video clips, just make a nice one and say that, not more than 1 minute.
Fine, sir.
And find out, and also on social media. See, the other thing is people feel that whatever we post on social media, the world looks at it. The answer is no. There are some, lot of, regression analysis and lot of things. Take a professional help to do it. That is your marketing spend.
Right, sir.
Would you like to add to this? From our experience, although we thought if we just put a business clinic advertisement in LinkedIn or something, we will, inquiries will keep falling in. It's not so. Would you like to share?
Yeah, sure, sir. So, like what Mr. Rajshekharan said, there are some standard ways of doing it, sir. Obviously, one is if you can get, apart from what Mr. Rajshekharan said, if you can get some people to sample it, like somewhere, some people who are closer to you to sample it, make videos and share it online. That is one option. Then the option is look for some feature in the product that people may know. They may not be able to come to the mattress and sit on the mattress, but is there some component of the mattress that is universally known? For example, Baba Ramdev's Dant Kanti, right? He cannot make everybody come and use the toothpaste. But the toothpaste uses Ayurvedic ingredients. Ayurvedic ingredients is associated in the mind of the person with a healing experience or a good experience. So is there something in the whole process of using the mattress or the mattress product itself, or what is the ingredient that is going into the mattress? Something in the, you have to map out the whole thing, right? From basic things like from when the customer comes and sits on your product, like what is the product comprised of, etc. In that whole journey, are there one or two things that, the person may have experienced elsewhere? That you do not need to highlight, and can you ride on top of that?
People always, yes, sir. People always say, I have slept on this mattress at my grandmother's place. In those days, our forefathers used to sleep on this. They connect with that instantly.
Yeah, or if you are in a place where technology doesn't come very quickly. Suppose, let's say you have memory foam is now old, but when memory foam came, some people used to say memory foam, greatest, good for back, add this. They used to just immediately say, and whatever mattress you're manufacturing, it has memory foam. So they say, oh, okay, a memory foam is there in this mattress, so I'll just buy it. So some people started competing against Kurlon, which was doing coir, and then they said, we will do memory foam, etc. Then Kurlon also had to move it like this. So we will have to really look, we'll have to know our product inside out somehow, and the customers inside out, what are they experiencing? Somewhere look for a few things that if we cannot provide us experience, they can get us experience and elsewhere.
Sure, sir. Certainly. Thank you so much.
Also, sir, there was one question from Mr. Gunasekaran. So he asked very, very pertinent question. Do the oil companies need sales promotion? Very, very good question, sir. Actually, the oil companies' employees themselves don't feel they need sales promotion because they feel they are in a public sector and undertaking. Oil is something that will definitely be needed in the economy. So why do we need to, promote, etc. But actually, the reality today is, sir, that there is so much competition in that field also, and not only from BPCL, HPCL, etc. For example, for IOCL, Shell, Reliance, everybody is coming into the thing. Earlier in many areas, these public sector undertakings used to be the only people operating outlets. Now there are these new people who are coming in. In their petrol pumps, not only are they selling petrol, they are also selling FMCG goods and snacks. They're providing great experience. Now people are not just coming for fueling in; they'll come have a sip of coffee and go. So there's so much that's happening. So now actually, companies are waking up and saying, even if I'm selling oil, I really need to do sales promotion to do sales. So great questions, yes.
Thank you. Next question is from Mr. G.S. Vishnath, sir, 82 Chemical Batch. Getting employees who want to build their career in an industry is very difficult. How do you teach alignment in the organization?
Career building. You're saying to build a career in your organization.
Yes.
Who Vishy?
Yeah. See, what today, people don't really want to look long and build a career and reach the top. They want to keep jumping. You stayed in ITC for such a long time. Now, if you tell somebody, they laugh. They say 5 years in a company, they think it's too long.
Yeah.
And the whole attitude today is not to stay and build a career. No, if you talk of alignment, they think, okay, tomorrow, that's all there. Very few people.
It's a good question. Let me respond to you. When I completed 25 years of service in ITC, I got a beautiful Titan watch as a gift. Okay, I finished 32 years finally when I retired. Now, last month, my daughter-in-law came back. She showed me a beautiful plaque and with some gift what the company had given after 5 years of service. So let's understand the product life cycle of a person working. Don't expect it to go beyond 5. And in that 5 years, you should get him to perform at the peak. That is the name of the game. If you expect him to stay for 32 years like Rajshekhar, it's not going to work. So in that 5 years, how can you create an emotional bonding with him? How can you make, like what Ram said, select the 2-3 things, what you need to help him to perform better and better. I think I'm not saying for a minute.
They themselves are not thinking of long innings. So how
don't do that. Yeah, don't do that because they will shift. That's the name of the game now. So in that 5 years, how can we maximize their stay with us and our expectations from them? Which is that whatever he said in the leadership coaching, that's what happens. 3 years if they deliver here, you had more than what you want.
Okay.
So typically when we work with companies, sir, we look at hire to retire cycle complete. So when you are hiring, typically what happens, we are in such a hurry to hire that we'll quickly get somebody who's really fitting the bill. But if we are really able to figure out during the interview process, go beyond just the JD and figure out what does the person want to do in life. This is the way a day will look for you at work. Are you really wanting to work on this? Then when they come into the company, also try and understand who they are, what they want to work, what is their purpose. They may not have thought about it, but if in the company we have a culture that thinks about such things, then they will start thinking. Once they start thinking, then, they really, so then the question is, somebody was asking us once that, so what if, they find out that, they are not fit for this or they don't want to, work here. So, and they leave. And then the reply is, what if they continue? They don't want to work if they continue. That's more of a danger. So basically, we have to work across from hire to retire. And many companies say, now my employee is exiting, and then tada, bye-bye, go, whatever, no association. Actually, that's one stage where you can really be very nice to the employee, so that many a times these people come back. They go outside, they see world, they come back. And they say, you know what, I really miss the place I was working in. Now I have learned so much more. I want to come back and work with you. So many people also often make this mistake of, looking from hire and all of that. Finally, at the exit stage, they leave the employee. So this somewhere it pays off, sir. Sometimes people even come back after like 5 years, and you see there's so much more value they add to the company. So,
Ram, can I add something here?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir.
See, this is Krishnan. I'm not part of your network. I'm part of Business Clinic. See, this is actually truth. I worked in Siemens. I quit Siemens in 1995 and rejoined Siemens in 2004. And then I had an entirely a new set of experience with Siemens. This is just to say, reinforce what you just now said, Ram.
Yeah, no, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, good point, Krishnan. I think, first of all, feel free to welcome people who are leaving you also. Doesn't matter. It's a matter of time. They'll go find that things are not great and they'll come back. In ITC, we have had hundreds of instances. We welcome that. Achha, take it. Doesn't matter. You tested the other side of the grass is always not green.
And second time, there was no interview. The appointment letter came by mail.
Yeah, great. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Next question is from Srinivasulu. Srinivasulu, can you unmute and put your question? Srinivasulu?
Yeah, yes, Prabhakar.
Yeah.
Thank you for the good, very wonderful presentation. Actually, the question is open to all. We are into energy saving products. Okay. So, for example, we are distributors for Superfan, which is energy saving product, and which is not visible only by the consumption pattern after a month or after 2 months. They will come to know that the saving has been 50%, 60% like that. Okay. And after that, we launched similar products in air conditioning, which is also a BLDC product. Okay. And we had a saving of even 70% in that. And similarly, we also now we are importing energy saving product from Korea, which is saving around 10% in the energy consumption. Okay. But I have sent the leaflet to more than 1,000 of the guys. I got only 2 inquiries in the digital marketing. Okay. So this is basically a concept selling what I am doing. In power, I am also doing power trading actually. Power trading in the sense power generated from windmills, solar plants, etc. We are reaching directly to the end users. Okay. So how to multiply, that is the businesses, we have the business, but we have to impact their minds. It is full and full a concept selling business, and until and unless anybody understands the product or realizes the product, it is very difficult them to convince. Okay, one part is we are getting from the references, we are getting business. That is okay, but the improvement, the development is very, very slow. For example, if you see the air conditioner, I took the product distribution around 3 years before. Okay, now only we have come to a stage that one of our item itself, he had ordered around 20 number of air conditioners from us. Okay, but they came, they visited, and we made them to understand you save so much of kilowatt in your consumption, so much of energy you are saving. So since they are shifting, they have gone for a new one, so they change the new one. In our business, we have to change the product to see the saving. Okay. So I want your advice on how to improve our business.
Sir, one question, sir. You said in digital marketing, you're sending them pamphlets or the thing. What does the pamphlet say, sir? Or what does
what the concept of the product is there?
Yeah.
Okay. How it saves the energy.
Okay.
Right. So, and one more thing is there are a lot of testimonials also in that pamphlet.
Okay. So there are 2 things, sir. One, Mr. Rajshekharan said earlier, either you have a direct experience or you have to have a substitute for that experience, which is what these people have done. Now, the testimonials, or maybe many times the testimonials themselves don't connect. Like for example, we may say that, let's say this AC, either you have an international standard like 3-star, 5-star, etc. for energy saving, which you can piggyback on. If you don't have that, then the best way is to connect to them through human experiences and stories. So instead of saying that my product can save this much and somebody saying, thank you, Mr. Srinivasulu, for giving me product, this happened, you can actually share like a story saying that this person ordered a product from us, right? Short, very, very short story or video. This is, I ordered, in 2 months, I got this saving. Here is how, not just saving, this is how it has improved my life in so many ways. So one simple thing. So people really connect and bond with emotions. When everybody else is out there fighting with facts, this is one way you can do it. There are so many other ways, but then we'll probably need to have to take a look at your product in detail to actually come to know like what all can be done. But this is definitely one way, simple way to tweak the messaging. Mr. Rajshekharan, would you like to say something, sir?
No, what I want to know is, what you're posing is a typical marketing problem, right?
Not a marketing problem. So we have a marketing tool, but people until and unless they understand the product, they realize the product that the product will give us 70% of saving. Okay, until and unless the replacement of the product has to be done. So the capex cost is more. For example, the air conditioner is around 45,000 rupees. Okay, so they have to change the air conditioner to get the saving.
So you're saying your message has to reach out to the right target customer. That's the most important thing. Like what Ram was saying, how will you find out who? Otherwise, you'll send 1,000 emails, you will not even get one response.
I had only 2 responses.
So it's possible. People say that's only 2%.
Yes.
In social media, in the response level, the typical cycle is awareness, trials, and then repeats. That's how it happens. Awareness, trial, repeats. So in your case, it could be 2% only. The point is, how will you reach out to the right people effectively? I think that is why I'm saying, are you an expert on social media?
No, sir, not fully expert.
Then please seek help. This is a subject which is gaining prominence and people will be able to help you. There are lots of guys who are doing social media marketing. Try and understand how to reach out to your target segment. That's why otherwise, this is a very nice saying is, otherwise you are spraying and praying. Okay, yeah.
Yes, thank you.
I'll take a call.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Rajshekhar, I just want to ask you only one question.
Yeah.
Because you are in ITC selling Mangaldeep Agarbattis.
Yeah.
You have a segment which is very, very cost conscious for buying the Agarbattis, and you are branded one with a product with technical and science oriented product. How would you make them to graduate to your level? I mean, is there any tool which you adopt?
Oh yeah, good question. This okay, not only applicable for Mangaldeep or any consumer product. Even,
yeah.
See, my thing is, first of all, price denotes premiumness. Let's understand that. Okay, don't underprice your product under any circumstance. That is for sure. So therefore, when we started marketing Mangaldeep, we said we are not going to compete with the guys who are selling agarbattis at 5 rupees. Our price will be 10 rupees and we will pack good quality in it. So therefore, the minute you're able to provide them with more than required quality, first, that's the fundamental thing. Second thing is, for God's sake, don't get into a price war. Price yourself a few rupees higher than what your competition does. Then automatically it denotes that you can do better. There are hundreds of examples like this. So I think price is the most important thing. If you're doing a service, you say, okay, let's take a case in point, let's take you're doing a particular service. A very small guy is offering it at 5,000 rupees. I'm entering the market. What should I price it at? And if your product or a service is much better than the other guy, confidently offer it 6,000, 7,000 rupees. Doesn't matter. It will take some time. Don't compromise on values.
Thank you.
Right. Now we will go with members' introduction. Let us start with Sangeeta, who was the guest speaker for our last week.
Yeah.
Sangeeta, can you unmute and quickly introduce yourself? I request all to take not more than 15 seconds because we need to get almost 50 participants to get themselves introduced. So let us start with Sangeeta.
Very good afternoon, everybody. It's great to reconnect with all of you. I just thought I'll come and say hello to you, and from after last week's presentation, in case you have any queries or any comments, or if you read my books, the printouts that I gave you and stuff like that, if there's anything, feel free to connect with me, and that's why I came here to say hello to you. And thank you, Mr. Rajshekaran and Ramesh, for the lovely presentation. You're on mute, Prabhakar.
Yeah, Sangeeta. Thank you very much.
Yes, welcome.
Prabhakar?
Yeah. For this particular session, we have got members from other faculties also. So far, we had members from Faculty of Engineering and Technology. From this particular session, we have few more other faculty members also participating. So let us start with Mr. Sandana Krishnan from Biotech department. Mr. Sandana Krishnan, can you unmute and introduce yourself? Mr. Sandana Krishnan?
I think he's not there, Prabhakar. He's left it.
Okay. So any other faculty members in the session apart from Faculty of Engineering and Technology? Can you please unmute and introduce yourself? So now I'll go with the alphabetical order itself. So let's start with Mr. Balamurugan. Can you please introduce?
Yes, good afternoon, sir. I am Balamurugan, 93rd batch environment. We are doing some environment related project, water treatment plant, sewage treatment plant, and bios plant. I think I met you sometime back regarding regarding that ITC paper coating. We are in the process for inquiry. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Babu.
So I am Babu Gopinath, passed out 2003 chemical engineering. I am previously I worked in Apotex for 15 years. And then now present I am working in the Lee Pharma as a process engineering lead team.
Right.
A nice presentation to Prabhakar and Ramkumar. Thank you as a part of it.
Thank you, sir.
Prabhakar? I think Ramkumar wants to, he has another call to attend. So
Please.
If we can formally propose a vote of thanks to Rajshekar and Ram before they leave because of the timing.
Mr. Gopi sir is doing the vote of thanks, or should I do it, sir?
You can, Prabhakar.
Yeah, okay. So thanks, Mr. Rajshekar and Mr. Ramkumar. This has been really a great session, especially for people who had been in business for quite some time and to the first generation entrepreneurs also. Lot of valid points to take home. And on behalf of AABN, I sincerely extend my heartfelt thanks to Mr. Rajshekar and Ramkumar. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Best wishes.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks, Ram. Thanks,
Raja and Ramkumar. You can share your contact points so that anybody interested in getting your expertise from
Definitely,
you.
sir. I'll just write it, sir.
You can put it in the chat box.
Yes, I'll just put it.
Please. You have a chat box for registration of your this thing and the connect.
I have put in the website details and the mail IDs, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sure. That should do, Ram.
Yeah, in the chat.
So probably Ram and Raja, you should be thinking of a special pricing for IOTA people and as well as alumni people. Thank you.
Sure. We'll do something, definitely.
Thank you very much.
All the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Bye.